you about these political defectors that is happening, majorly from Fani Gani Kayode, his defection from PDP to AP after I have vowed so many times that he will rather die than becoming an APC member or to bow before Buhari. So we want you to listen to the audience about the issue.
Are you sure you capture it? See my guy. Hey, Kule. So, what are you saying?
About these political defectors all over the country right now.
The point,
About, in
Fan-
particular,
Fani Kayode, our man has left us. That is the way Nigerian politicians, have been politicking in recent time. After 1999, we started seeing, we begin to see another pact or face of Nigerian politicians. It's a hidden face that we did not know before. So it's another chapter anyway. You see it, I call it earthquake of defection. It is so devastating. It's so shameful. And let me tell you, it has excavated the ghost of international shame. That what they are doing, running in Nigeria, is business, racketeering. They are bridge players. If you ask me, I will tell you that they should go to United States of America and confront the bridge players in Florida. They are the gamblers over there. They are billionaires gambling, making money. Nigerian politicians are gambling with Nigerians, our destiny. They are gambling with our life. They are gambling with everybody. No social infrastructure here. Nothing has been seen at sites done by these people. Just imagine, Fani Kayode of all people. Let me tell you, some of you don't know him. I know him too well. His father was one of the nationalists in Nigeria. Late Wale Fani Kayode, Remi Fani Kayode fought for Nigeria independence. If you don't know, during Awolowo time, his father was a prominent nationalist who made sure that the British left us in 1960. But look at what his son is doing. If you don't join them, if you don't beat them, you should join them. That is what I've seen in recent time. He's a historian. I love him. I listen to him. I read most of his articles. Let me tell you, that guy mentors me. But in this, let me tell you, last week, I was highly devastated when I learned that Fani Kayode, of all the people, has left the so-called his party, PDP, and joined the man he has men on these glaring sets, condemned him, abused him, rejected him. Oh my God, they bumped everything about him. I'm talking in the person of Buhari. Fani Kayode, I cannot fathom the right word to use right now, to compare to what has happened this time around to PDP members, having seen Fani Kayode defecting to APC is like a dream. He has nothing to tell Nigerians. I'm telling you, he's a man whose political ideology is made known to everybody, every canale. He is a man, he's so blunt as anything, or all that. But today, you have seen him. He has cross-carpeted. He has defected to APC, joining the political gamblers that has infested APC in the recent time. What we are doing here, let me tell you, is Federal Republic of Nigeria, PLC. The CEO is Buhari. You can see the board of directors. Fani Kayode has joined them. You ask me a question one by one.
Thank you so much. Thank you
are
so
you okay
much.
with that?
I'm okay with that as well. Recently, we know it's not all about Fani Kayode in most cases, but because it's shown, because he has ever sworn quite long time ago that he will rather die
Than joining APC.
than joining this kind of APC or to bow before Buhari, or what we see today. But we saw this man, Dino Melaye, now he's cursing Buhari as Fani Kayode has been praising Buhari.
Don't you think in the future he might just...
So, what do you think about that of Dino Melaye?
Dino
the fact or...
Dino Melaye is saying the facts. He said it once and they still saying it now. He's so tacit in what he believes on. He doesn't change. I don't see Dino Melaye as a flexible person. But what shocked me was how dare Fani Kayode, of all people, you swore by your life. You swore with your blood. Don't you think that there are some forces that might go against you. It is very bad for a man to swear by his life over his dead body. Let me tell you, many did that in the past and it cost them their life. The former chief of army staff that was among the victims of the army sharp in Abuja, he swore over his life, over his dead body, Biafra will never come to. And as you can see how Biafra is coming through now, emergence of Biafra, let me tell you, that young man died in the mid-air. Fani Kayode, I pray for you. You swore by your life. You said over your dead body, you will never have anything to do with these crops of politicians infested APC. I'm telling you, you swore by your life, and I'm telling you, I pray that God will return your life.
So are you saying?
So what I'm trying to say, in essence now, I don't compare Dino Malaye with Fani Kayode. They are two different persons. I'm telling you, most politicians are so flexible. You can't predict Nigerian politician. The next 5 minutes, what he can do, they can change and change with changing years. As time, hand of clock goes, that's how they change. They are so chameleonic, they are so malleable and flexible that you could never predict what any politician in Nigeria can do the next second. If Fani Kayode anyway could this time around defect to APC, I'm telling you, this part of the world has been subjected to this kind of, let me tell you, amusement.
Thank you so much. Maybe you will have heard of this our past president, which is a good lucky Billy Jonathan. We heard he's coming back down to APC as well. What do you feel? What do you feel about this?
It is a general belief that northern Nigeria, the northern oligarchy, Hausa, Fulani oligarchy, they are fond of that. They are fond of choosing, selecting from the south someone they could trust. Someone they could trust in the sense that when he rules finish, he will do what? Hand over the mantle of leadership back to them.
Don't you think that is all about politics?
Yes. No. I want to quote. Listen good, gentlemen. Okay. Obasanjo did it in 1979. When Murtala Mohammed was killed, Obasanjo took over in 1976. 1979, I'm telling you, Baba handed over to Chagari. Everybody insinuated then that Baba would never ever did that. But he did that honorable and they step aside. In 1999, the northern oligarchy, Fulani imperialists, they look for someone they trust in the southern Nigeria. Nobody. Not even Olufalaye, Jim Wobodo, or even Alex Ekweme. Then they succeeded on picking the same man because they know at the end of the day he's going to deliver as usual. Obasanjo piloted the affairs of this country from 1999 till 2007 and he did the same magic. He handed over to Hausa Fulani oligarchy in the person of who? Late Musa Yar'Adua, who could have been the best president Nigeria has ever had. He died as a result of terminal disease or sickness. Let me tell you, the North are too politically inclined. They play us, we the Southerners, dies. They toast us south, toast us north. They toast us from east to west. As they toast us with dangle and gangle, that is how they have been gambling from day one since 1960. I'm telling you, they trust the bestowed on Good Luck Jonathan was first played out in 2015 when Good Luck Jonathan single-handedly handed over to Buhari. Did not mean that Buhari won an election. No. What happened in 2015 was palace coup. You know the coup, I call it the coup of the generals. Who are the champions there? Who played this role? T.Y. Danjuma was there. Obasanjo was there. What do you call Jeremiah Husseini? All of them, they were there at the living room, yes, at Aso Rock there, urging him, Good Luck Jonathan, to surrender to Buhari, that Buhari has won, that he should not delay a second. What happened? They could not even verify if Buhari had rigged election or not. What happened? Jonathan went straight and they conceded defeat to Buhari. So don't you see that's the palace coup? Yes, because I call it palace coup because even Buhari himself was not qualified to contest for 2015 election. Buhari presented what was called Nitel Bill. or you can call it NEPA bill, as Tinubu said. Tinubu said even if he come up with NEPA bill, we are going to allow him. And surely that guy, WAEC attested result or attestation, understand result was not credible or what? Valid. The man presented fake result and they allowed him because every Dick and Ali in APC supported him. He was not competent to manage the affairs of this country because he's not even educated.
I want to ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
So the question is, now you said the Northerners are really playing the South.
They are playing
like,
the games.
Like dice.
Yeah, dice. So they toast
are you saying the South altogether, including Southeast and the Southwest?
Everybody.
Are you saying we are not sincere politically?
Politically, I am a sincere person. Politically, if you try me in politics, you will fail.
I'm saying at large, Southeast at large, and Southwest.
Let me tell you, if you want to hit the head of Southeasterners and head of the Southwesterners, you meet the right person.
It's just a question.
I will tell you, I know that is a question. I will tell you categorically that since 1960, from 1960 to 1966, no Easterner was there. Nobody from that region has ever ruled Nigeria. The first person to have taken that position was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He was just a ceremonial president because he went to school then. While the Prime Minister, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, I think he was just there as a Prime Minister.
No,
if you go ahead.
See, I can understand you. I can understand you.
They have never tried Igbo man before. Are you listening to me? Hausa.
No, according to your report, according to what you have just said about politics.
Yes.
So that is what I'm asking.
The Southerners as they like. The whole Southerners. I can't just say precisely Yoruba. The whole Southerners, the Hausas have been using us.
And that was the question.
The question now is that they have been toasting the Southerners
as
they like.
Yes.
Don't you see what is happening in Imo State? Uzodinma was not the person that won the election.
Do you still believe
what?
Southerners, they are real sincere politicians?
No, they are not. Southerners are gamblers. Southerners are errand boys, errand politicians to the Northerners. When you talk about politicking, in the business of politicking, no Southerner is self-reliant. No Southerner trusts himself. Are you listening to me? They are errand boys. They are so flexible. All of them, they are not trustworthy. Let me tell you, if you ask me, I will tell you that they are political gamblers.
How?
Thank you so much. Look at what is happening to your Baba Tinubu. Tinubu has not been sincere to himself, let alone sincere to Southerners. Tinubu was just playing politics of what? Individualistic mentality.
But what can you now say about this of Jonathan, as I've asked?
Jonathan is what? An errand boy. They pick him. Obasanjo pick him, made him Nigerian president. If you ask me, are you listening to me?
Compare him to...
Comparing to who?
This APC leader.
Tinubu?
From the South, yes.
Okay, Tinubu. No. Jonathan is better than Tinubu. No. Jonathan is better than Tinubu. But in a situation whereby Tinubu has his way, I think two of them are going to be two different persons. That's why I'm saying that I would have loved Jonathan instead of Tinubu. But in terms of gambling, political gambling, Tinubu is smarter than Jonathan. I think you understand me. But when you think about benevolence, general sympathy, if you ask me to show sympathy, I will choose Jonathan. Do you understand? But when you talk about dribbling, politicking, gambling, I will choose Tinubu.
Okay, now let's do it this way. What did you want Nigerians at large? What do you want them to do with this politician? Do we still have to believe in them, or what is your own contribution or your own piece of advice to Nigerians about these defectors all over?
Good question. Good questions. I want Nigerians to be careful about these politicians. I want Nigerians never to put trust or hope on these crops of politicians. They are crook. They are after their own selfish interests. This crop of politicians we have presently are not altruistic. Rather, they are all self-centered, greedy. They are all ravenous wolf. My advice to you as a Nigerian is know the right thing to do. If you boycott election, you are putting yourself still at danger. The best thing is that day, go, know the right person you know. Pick the young, or you call them young breed politicians, the youth. They are the people we want this time around. Let us change this kind of ideology. You know, from Dr. Zik, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, Akintola, and the rest. They believe that it's all about the elders. It's all about the ruling class. They have got it. They have got this dynasty. You know, like, how do I put it? As their own right. Do you understand?
I do.
Let us change it. Switch over to the youth.
Okay.
We need youthful politicians. We need the youth there. My advice to Nigerians is just.
So you are urging the youth to come out, to come and contest.
To join the politics, because we are the one that can change the future generation of this country. We don't sit back and rely on this old breed of politicians. They have disappointed us.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you.
Let me quickly, because I'm going somewhere.
About these defectors, majorly Fani Kayode and some other top politicians, that they are defecting from a particular party into other. You know of Fani Kayode, who has sworn that nothing ever, he will rather prefer to die instead of going down to APC or to bow before Buhari and his government. So what do you see to this?
Thank you very much. Matthew is the name. It's unfortunate that we have a society where we actually borrow democracy, but the tenets of democracy is lacking in Nigeria. Because to be quite honest with you, in a state society, if you are following a particular political party, you follow it based on their ideology, based on their manifesto. So it doesn't matter whether you lose an election or you win an election. Election will always come. But again, in Nigeria, you have a situation where all politicians are only there because of their peculiar interests. That's why you see a politician in Nigeria who will sleep in. Even APC rejected his membership. He got a point where it became a public debate. It tarried. And at the point where he discovered that nobody was watching, he sneaks into APC. But again, it is the hallmark of Nigerian politicians. I'm not surprised. But again, I think we needed to deepen Nigerian democracy. Because if you look at what shaped Nigerian election, what shaped Nigerian democracy, is basically because of peculiar interests. What do I stand to benefit? That's why you see a hollow chamber like Senate, the House of Representatives, they will not make laws that will actually deepen democracy. They will only be making laws that will advance their personal interests. And speaking particularly because of the recent election bill that had to do with the transmission of election results. You recall that when the need to decide how to transmit election results came up in the National Assembly, both chambers of the National Assembly disappointed Nigerians, because the least we expected from them is election results being transmitted electronically. We had a situation where they even invited NCC, National Communication Commission, to come and lie on oath that Nigeria do not have what it takes to transmit the election results electronically. Here we are. Only recently there was local government election conducted in Kaduna State, and we can see R5 demonstrating it. For me, there are areas I disagree with R5, but on this I think R5 is the only true Democrat in terms of all governors in Nigeria. Because before now, without exception, I've not seen any government who conduct election, local government election in his state, and you see opposition winning in any of the elected positions. Whether states controlled by PDP, whether states controlled by APC, I've not seen it before now. But we are seeing where it is now practically, where it has been made practical. Because it was only made practical because if in that Kaduna election, they used electronic transmission of, they transmitted election results electronically. So Nigerians are not surprised about the defection of Fani Kayode, because it's the hallmark of average Nigerian politician. And if, don't be surprised by, before you know it, a Jonathan will jump from PDP to APC. We are already seeing the handwriting on the wall, because most of the foot soldiers, most of the lieutenants are already jumping from PDP to APC. So you see that in Nigeria, they always, because what drives them, their motivational factor is that pecuniary interest, personal aggrandizement, rather than deepening democracy, national interest, and it's unfortunate.
Any other question? Now, what I can say, we have talked about a lot about Fani Kayode. We see of Dino Melaye from APC to PDP. You understand? Already you have mentioned about this Jonathan coming down to APC. All these things, is it telling us that we really have trustworthy politicians among us? Or what do you think about this politician? And you should tell us something we have to believe about them. Or should we still hope in them? Or we still have to believe them? Or we should get some other set of people in politics like youth? Or what are your views?
To be quite honest with you, come 2023, I'm of the opinion and of the view that we should have a youth in the saddle as a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because you cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Over the years, we have had the same class and set of politicians recycling themselves, and it have not earned us any good. You see, we have a situation where Nigeria is operating on a mono economy. Oil account for almost 80% of our national earning. And the government have refused to diversify the economy because they cannot think outside the box. Because we have a class of rulers, leaders who lack the managerial acumen, administrative acumen on how to create wealth. That is why all the attention is on oil. If you needed to diversify the economy, look at Nigeria, for instance. We have one of the largest steel deposits in the world. So if you develop the steel in Nigeria, it will capture African market, and it will even give us revenue more than the crude. So I am not a fan of these old politicians. I am an advocate of, let us have young Nigerians take over the reign of affairs of this country.
Okay, what do you think the best way to bring in the youth into the system and at look of things now in Nigeria with this old politician? Do you think that one can be possible?
There is no better way to do it rather than sensitization. It starts from a point. We start sensitizing the youth about the need to get involved. Because the problem is that the youth have the numerical strengths. But unfortunately, they refuse to bring that strength to bear in terms of coming out to register. Now, INEC have thrown open the window of registration of eligible voters. So I'm encouraging the youth to avail themselves of that privilege and opportunity to get registered. Because the process of electioneering starts from registration. Having registered, when it comes to election proper, electioneering campaign, we look for Nigerians, irrespective of where they hail from, who have the managerial and administrative acumen to pilot the affairs of a complex Nigeria. Then we front them. By that we front them, we ensure that we rally support and campaign, whether on social media, physically, every means and every platform. We galvanize support for them to ensure that the world, the whole country, know the stuff they are made of.
May I ask you a question? Do you have a particular organization to fund the youth nowadays, or you will create that one later, or do you have a body for that?
Whether there is a platform or not, as a Nigerian that is 18 years and above, you are eligible to vote. And if you are looking at a political party, it doesn't take rocket science to float a political party. It only takes some fundamentals. You approach INEC for registration. That notwithstanding, there are so many political parties, so many platforms, even as we speak, through which people can aspire to rule Nigeria in terms of being an aspirant and candidate, subsequently a candidate of such political party. I don't think that one is a challenge. The only challenge is, you would have asked me, where is the resources to challenge this cabas, the ruling class?
Well, that has been my question. I
Now,
said the way you see this old politician, do you think it's possible? That I
it's
had.
possible where if you have synergy. The same way it was surprising to Nigerians how NSAS was galvanized, how Nigerians signed on to that project. You saw that even at the level of targets, it was so organized that they had bouncers. They were stopping people who were trying to infiltrate into the ranks of the protesters to cause mayhem, to disrupt it. Until unfortunately, government came with military to disrupt the whole protest. We saw shooting and all of that. And look at what is even happening currently. That panel sitting in Lagos have been suspended abruptly, unfortunately. So what I'm trying to say in essence is because there was a need, because the science will tell you that necessity is the mother of invention. So that of answers, there was a need. People own the process. People decided to take it upon themselves to drive the process. In the same way, if there adequate sensitization, awareness creation among the youths, they will not own the process of electronic campaign, get involved by registering, process of campaign. You will see people campaigning at their different capacity.
Okay. Lastly, what is your conclusion about Fani Kayode in particular?
My conclusion is that the character of Fani Kayode is the character of an average politician. My conclusion is that I am not surprised when I saw him defect, because all indices on ground show that he wanted to defect. My conclusion is that if we continue the same way we are going, we cannot deepen our democracy. My conclusion is that we should have a way of coming together, the youth, so that we can challenge this status quo that is stampeding development in Nigeria, which is a cabas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning.
So we wanted to say something about Fani Kayode defection from the PDP down to APC, and some other politicians as well who happens to be defectors like Idunu Milaye and of this Goodluck Jonathan Ebele. So your view?
Okay, I'm Mr. Chigozie. You could recall in the recent past, following his political antecedents, you will understand that he's just like returning home. He was once an APC member, and unfortunately, or maybe due to his political interests, I think was it in 2015 or during Jonathan era, he has to defer to PDP to get what he really want to grab. And they haven't done that, and they are no longer, they have been dismissed out of power, and for some time he has more or less been rendered irrelevant as far as the politicking is concerned, or within the political sphere, and he wants to return to the place of relevance. And he have, of course, as a good schemer, he understood the political landscape and terrain of this country, and have seen that he stands a better chance of maybe stumbling on a fortune should he return back to his, let me say, family as a prodigal son. And unfortunately for him, that is what we are seeing. He's now back home as a prodigal son. But what my concern is, despite all the promises and the position he has maintained over the period, that nothing can bring him back to the Egypt, which he describes APC as Egypt, or darkness, a world of darkness. But unfortunately, he ended up identifying with, you see, that's why you cannot trust an average political elite as far as this country is concerned. And you can't trust them for their words, because they are bound to change any time, any moment. I believe that he has been romancing with the government of the day. But at night, and when it is day, he will come out to criticize the government of this present government that they are not doing anything, and they are the worst government ever, and they never meant well for the people. But this is a man who, I mean, in his useful age, should chart the way forward. What actually did he see in APC that he could not achieve in PDP? If truly you want to build a system that, of course, will engender coexistence or coherence within the ethnic nationalities,
So I have a
and
question.
people, okay, you can.
So the question is, many people have been saying that this government is bad, this and that. But the opposition party, who happens to be the PDP, the leaders who are sat, even the presidency at this time, now they are now cross-carpeting, defecting into APC, the party they criticized many years ago, day by day. What can you say about this? Even I think you have heard of Jonathan coming down to APC. All this, put it together and say something about it.
Well, for me, I believe it's for the case of Jonathan still remains within the world of speculation, and only time will reveal the more of that, the actual fact. But be that as it may, you see, we don't have opposition as far as Nigeria is concerned. What we just have people with diverse political ideology, but what unite them is common interests. So most of those who are today in APC was once PDP. So the cross-carpeting is seen as a normal norm. They have no ideology, they have no moral obligation to their own party or allegiance to the party. And in as much as this remains a norm within the political landscape of Nigeria, we are not moving anywhere. And in fact, democracy has been threatened. Why? Because who do you call the opposition? Is it a man like the Fani Kayode, who made so many rantings and noise? Just at midnight, he has to defend, telling us he did that in the interest of the people. He wants to unite a nation that is already in disarray, a nation that, of course, our fabrics of existence has been fast eroded. Not now. Ever since the man called the Buhari, if actually some people claim he's an impostor, that he has gone to be with his ancestors since 2017, which
That cannot be fact.
claim. It may not be a fact, but in any rumor there is element of truth, and which, of course, we have to give an opportunity for that to be proven otherwise. And that is my position. Unfortunately, we don't have a system. If Jonathan should defect to APC today or in midnight, I wouldn't be surprised, because they are not there to protect the interests of the people. They are not there for, they're not driven by patriotism or national interest. It is selfish Jonathan interest and Femi Kayode interest and Bode George or any other person's Tinubu's interest. They want to continue to grab. As far as they have power, they have tested power and understood that absolute power corrupts, and with absolute power, you can point at somebody and ask the instrument of the state to arrest the person, and nobody can challenge you, which is very unfortunate. Rather than to use the instrument of power to advance the cause of your people, to create an environment that will engender unity and prosperity for all, you have unfortunately destroyed the fabric of existence, and they are playing along sectional politics, which unfortunately have left us with no other desire than to seek for a nation we can call our own. That's why you can see agitations across the southwest, the southeast, and of course the middle belters are not left in this struggle and are craving. Of course, yes.
What can you advise Nigerians as a whole, and the youths, and the electorate? What can we do? How do we go about it? And you advise that you think it can work, because there is no way in this Nigeria these politicians still go to come out as many, and we have to select one.
Yes, First TV Africa, I may want to make this submission. We have been seeking for a way out of this miracle for barely 6 decades now, since 19 independence. And you can understand that truly, even the founding fathers of this nation, we are never united by a common front. We are never, we are just playing selfish and sectional politics. And down the line, Bali 60 in October 1st, we'll be marking about how many years? 50 something years of independence, or more than that, 57 years or thereabout. And yet, we have not, as a country, as a nation, we have not found our feet in terms of economy, development, civilization, adherence to the rule of law, and all that. We are nowhere at all to be found in the history of democracy. And unfortunately, I may want suffice me to say the only option as it stands now is for every, of course, a referendum should be conducted for the entire nation to decide who and who is still interested.
And do you think this government is ready for that?
Well, of course, in their manifesto that brought them into power, these are one of the key points, strong points, which probably they form one of their manifestos, that they will give room to dialogue and restructuring of federalism through federalism, or probably a referendum. In a state,
And you think you experience that in this government?
it doesn't matter the position of the government's opinion as it stands, but what matters is the rule of law. We cannot continue in this country, in a country that is anti-people, a country that is bent at destroying and exterminating its own people on the basis of ethnicity and or religion. What defines you as a country, as a citizen of Nigeria? You see, before you consider a citizen, you will be asked, where do you come from? Where is your state of origin, local government of origin? That doesn't qualify you to be a Nigerian by virtue of the fact that you find yourself or you are born in this country. They must want to, if you want to gain anything, they will refer you to your own state. You are not a Nigerian if you don't define where you come from. And unfortunately, we have not, it has not been in the advantage or interest of the masses or the ethnic nationalities at this time. We have suffered so many loss, and of course we are at the risk of extinction, because anything that amounts to physical torture or mental or psychological torture is assumed to be a genocide against a people, as far as it has to do with a people or a group, according to the UN International.
So it means you don't believe in one Nigeria?
Nigeria is gone, Nigeria is dead as it stands now. So there is no other future you are waiting for. If there are, Boko Haram already have established.
So finally, what are your recommendations about Fani Kayode in person?
Well, he has the right to his opinion, and that doesn't. My position about his whatever he has done is irrelevant. But we are watching, and how can such a man be trusted, who, of course, have unfortunately eaten his words time without number. So if there is any opportunity for him to address Nigerians, you can't take him serious.
It's not trusted.
It's just a product of the unfortunate failed system, and he's trying to play along what is happening. It's very unfortunate. Such man cannot be trusted with any leadership responsibility.
So you are saying he's not a trustworthy person?
Well, of course, based on his antecedents, we understood. So many people said that he's just like his father, as good as his father, and his father sometime in the past played such a role. He betrayed confidence, and at the expense of his own people, or to his own advantage. So it's very unfortunate. You see that Nigeria is dead, and you can quote me anywhere, because we cannot have a system, a country that could not cater for its own people, that's only based on borrowing. Why could you survive by borrowing? As a country, we claim to be the over 200 and something million And you can take advantage of such population to drive the economy, to create an enabling environment, to become the international hub of tourist region. It's very unfortunate. Nigerians are hardworking, but we have a failed system that does not allow or encourage ingenuity and talent hunting or people to live out their dreams and expectations. That's why every average youth within this country, we want to scurry for safety or seek for asylum in other countries of the world, which of course are willing to recognize their contribution and potency in driving a viable economy. Nigeria is gone.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
So we want to hear your view about Fani Kayode, a defection from PDP to APC.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers. My name is Samuel. You see, in looking at Fani Kayode as a person, we need not to just talk about Fani Kayode alone, because Fani Kayode is part of a political system that is characterized by hypocrisy, double standard, greed, corruption, maybe what I call witchcraftism. Because a man will say something today, and within the next minute he says another thing. Within the next minute he jumps to another political party. The same party said he won't join, he jumps over. So you don't wonder the kind of legacies those kind of people will leave for their children and their grandchildren. Somebody that said, oh, Buhari is dead, instead of him joining the APC, he would rather die. He cannot be part of that kind of political Boko Haram association of, is it Boko Haram party? He gave them names. So, but the truth is, Fani Kayode is not surprising, because the system only encourages thieves, looters, those who don't have morals, who don't have integrity, those who can say another thing today, say another thing tomorrow, do wuru, and that's what the dead system of the so-called Nigerian system encourage. And it's a pity that we find ourselves in this part of the world. But you know the funny part? We can only blame Fani Kayode because most of our political leaders cut across the north and south did the same thing and get to power. Some years back, we know the statement of some certain people against the president. All of a sudden, they turn overnight, and people clap for them as our leaders and gave them chair in front seats in the mosque, in the church, political parties, and gave them award, and they were all jumping on around, and they formed this coalition. So the coalition was a making of hypocritical, double standard, ethnic bigot, people without integrity. That is the reality. And we have more of those kind of people in our governance system. So there's nothing going to change. Because Fani Kayode wants to eat from the federal structure. Me and my brother, we just had a dinner, my brother from another mother, tomorrow, with another governor. Fani Kayode's brothers are only governors. His friend for over 30 years are only governors. And he's always having dinner with all of them. So a man that talks more on his tummy, political stomach infrastructure, will do anything to make sure that he continue to eat from the system. So that's the kind of political system and the kind of people that we have. But the point remains that in Nigeria cannot remain like this forever. And that is paramount. So either counterfeit or genuine, these people will leave the scene. Because a new set of leadership...
Before you even conclude, it's not about Fani Kayode, because those defectors are many. Yes, like Dino Milaye from APC, Shehu Sani, and then maybe you have heard about Jonathan coming down to APC.
It's not new. That's what I'm saying. See, if we want to move down to the history of the campaign, it's a long story. In Nigerian politics, the first the campaign happened, as at the time, the Action Congress under Obafemi Awolowo moved overnight, because they did not want Nnamdi Azikiwe to become the leader at that point in time. So that was the first stage whereby cross-carpeting or the campaign was used as a terminology in Nigerian political history. Some will say it's the campaign, cross-carpeting. See, it's a system of hypocritical people jumping from one ship to another for a result of selfish interest, corrupt interest, either ethnic, bigotry, or religious alignment for their selfish interests. It's not about the people. It's not about policies. It's not about developmental antagonism. They did not decamp because they were trying to fight for railway from Lagos to Kano, and another said, don't do it. So because of the policy of development, no. So Jonathan knows that nobody has the monopoly of hypocrisy or decamping. So he also has a choice constitutionally. Down drives us that we cannot continue with this parochial, traditional, mad system. We need to make our laws that will restrain people from jumping like chicken. In America, you have a Democrat, he dies a Democrat. You have the Republican, he dies a Republican. That is how sane system should work. But in Nigeria, no party ideology, everything goes. That go. The man will say this today, say another thing tomorrow. If it's not ACN, he will move. He will change the name from ACN to AC, from AC to AD, from AD. They won't call it the campaign, they will call it rebranding to CPC, from CPC to ABGA, to APC. They will form. Then from PDP, you move to APC, APC, PDP, APC, 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 PDP. What's the madness? So the truth still remains that Jonathan too has a right to decamp, because those that decamp, have they made anything good? They are eating from. So Jonathan also should go and eat from the system, because the hypocrisy that was played in 2015 will be repeated in 2023. That's what is Jonathan. That is what Jonathan is trying to tell them. The hypocrisy. It was, see, as of 2015, we have a template to restructure this country. So they played hypocrisy, propaganda, ethnic bigotry, religious sentiment, corruption, and greed. Instead of bringing a leader, the political elite and the religious hypocrites and the Ojoto crusaders who are making noise, like, they can't shout now. Things that was, they can't shout. They killed people in Ojota. How many of those Ojota crusaders came out? God don't catch all of them. Breeze don't blow, fire don't open. Now, what they should have done in 2015 was, instead of recycling a general, those who have ruled, it was accidental that Jonathan, who was not part of the ruling class politically, managed to come to the scene. The allies should have looked for a more democratic civilian who will be able to allow the freedom of information, critique and criticism of government, freedom of the press, was one thing that was much entrenched.
And do you think this old politician will allow such a person?
No, it's not the old politician. The old politician would have allowed that with the coalition of elites. All your so-called Save Nigeria would have pushed for that. If that was not possible, was to allow Jonathan. It was a two choice between the old devil and the old devil creating a new generation. Not that to go and bring an old devil. Jonathan was more or less a new kid in the political scene. That was why it was naive to allow that robust conversation of critique. So what they should have done is to amplify that level of criticism by bringing in a more democratic civilian to have complemented the stats of what they've attacked Jonathan with. He won't have the mind to start banning Twitter, keep people in toll gates. No. It would have given for robust criticism and put government on toes, both local and state level. Would have been further than where we are. So, but what did they do? They go and bring another military that knows how to speak to them, the Ojota hypocrites, in the language they understand. And he has been speaking to them in the language they understand. Even by my pastor, Tunde Bakare, started shouting, I supported you. You were supporting a military man. God don't catch you. God don't give you another revelation. All our Ojota, they're plenty. Apart from Dele Momodu, who came out to apologize, and maybe Dino Milai, how many of them has accepted that they misinformed millions of people? They directly or indirectly created a monster in governance. They brought out a government that is corrupt and no system is working. How many of them know how much was dollar? How many? So now they can't talk. How many of them came out when they killed in Lekki Tollgate? The hypocrites are all dead and gone. So Jonathan too did what? Played along with Buhari, represented Buhari in different peacekeeping. Now Buhari's mind is soft and is looking at bringing out the good boy. And the northern cabals want to support him because they know that Jonathan have one term. By 2027, they'll give it back to him. So our brother in Oju Yobo, that I thought he's the only one that is smart politically, was not looking at the future. That is possible the northerner will be there for 8 years and probably will not hand over back to me, but will give it back to a southerner that has a shorter term. So politically, know the wisdom, get understanding. Political mathematics is not only for one person. So The campaign in Southeast and South you are seeing to APC, it's not magic. There's a permutation for Jonathan to come. More governors will become. Shebi Nigeria wanted change. When a man moves from PDP to APC in 2015, it's change. When a man moves from the same PDP to APC in 2022, it's next level. Now eyes go open. They will see the camp in Southeast and South. So when they now enter, let me now see who the North would vote for. Between a Southerner that will use 4 years and the one that will use 8 years. Everybody gets sense of hypocrisy and double standard. It's not one place. So the remark remains that
about Fani Kayode.
Fani Kayode is an hypocrite. And he shouldn't be taken seriously. And with time, he will see the camp. Because when he's hungry, you can't backroll him again with the camp. Obasanjo just said, give him food and he will sing for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So
my name is Samuel.
okay, thank you. You're welcome. So my people at home and in diaspora. So we are going to drop the curtain right now. So we shall see next time on this program. Listen to public view about a particular issue. But now we are listening to the people from the perspective they see Fani Kayode defection. So let's call it a day. Bye bye for now.